Thrilled to have American hopeful here, Ethan Quinn, at our Tennis Channel BetMGM desk. Ethan, great to see you here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. A great win today. Dushan's been around for quite some time, very capable on this stuff, especially in the big events. He's made a Masters 1000 final before on the clay. Took him out in straight sets. What was the part you were most proud about?
Serving myself out of trouble. Yesterday in my match, I had 11 double faults against Montero, and I was able to not hit a double fault today at all. Big moments, I was able to make first serves, put some pressure on him with having to come up with a good return or a good point. He passed me with an incredible passing shot, forehand down the line, and just you have to clap the racket in that moment. But besides that, I was able to serve myself out of trouble, get myself into a position where I could be hitting a lot of forehands. And when I'm doing that, I'm playing at my best.
You mentioned that match against Montero, 6 in the third. You had to squeeze through that. You've got some matches under your belt here on the clay. What are you finding yourself doing, especially in the crucial moments, that's working so well on this surface?
Just being a little unpredictable. Early on in matches, I feel like I've been being predictable, just playing patterns the way that you should be at pro tennis. But late in sets, just taking a little bit more risk. But it's calculated risk. Something that we've been practicing a lot of times on the practice courts, just taking the right changes down the line, coming to the net, just being a little unpredictable and just kind of laying it all out there. Guys don't really like to see that sometimes. So I've been trying to do that, just take it to them and play my style.
Talk to me about the movement. How is the movement continuing to feel more and more comfortable on the clay?
When I first came on it, I thought I was going to be a fish out of water.
Right.
But with a lot of work with Franco Herrero, we did, a lot of
Franco's
movement.
great.
Franco's amazing. We've been doing a lot of work with it, just making me comfortable, moving my backhand. I think that was my biggest concern when I came here.
Yeah.
But now I feel very comfortable that it's not a liability. So I go out there and I just compete, just do what I like to do, and I don't really worry about the things that might cause me to lose. I've just been trying to stay in my game and do the things that I like to do rather than get bullied around.
Journey-oriented mindset, process-based, really love to hear that. Been picking up wins on the clay, as we talked about last week in Barcelona, another place you qualified, and had a very fun match to watch against Carlos. That second set, pushed it to a breaker. What did you learn from that match?
I think the greatest thing I learned was that I could, play with anyone. Carlos is amazing on the clay. He's been having an unbelievable 3 years. Hasn't lost a match really on clay since 2022, obviously, besides the final. So, to be able to hang with him and feel like I wasn't getting bullied the entire match, I really walked off the court with a lot of confidence. I knew that moving forward, I could, make damage here at tournaments like this one, go deep in tournaments, and I think I'm doing that so far this week.
Yeah, you certainly are. You're 119 in the rankings now, career high. No doubt you'll be shooting up those things. A huge part of moving up, especially as a young player, is getting input where you can from some of the players you look up to. You played a great match with Tommy Paul in Dallas, and and he had some words for you after.
Yeah, I mean, it's not typical. You walk off a match court and your opponent's telling you what you could have done better or what you did great. Tommy's really been a good mentor for me. Helped me in moments maybe last year where I wasn't feeling too great about myself, that I maybe made the wrong decision going pro. But he was really able to help me out and mentor me through those tough moments. Kind of like a little bit of a light in a dark moment. He would invite me over to come over, get dinner with him, spend some time with him, where in moments like where I'd come home, training, I'd go back to my apartment and I'd just be like, man, what am I doing? I'm by myself here. I'm working hard, but I'm not really getting the results. So, he was really able to help me through the difficult moments early on in my career. And then now just being able to share the court with him and share the insight. I mean, he's a top 10 player. So just getting to see the way he sees the game is very valuable. And I'm very appreciative of that.
That's so cool to hear. Tommy's such a great guy, but to hear the intricacies of the relationship, that's awesome. You got a big game. We know the elements. You're going to look to continue to improve out there, built around that massive serve of yours. As you continue to move your way through your career, what are some of the things you'd like to continue to improve, just lifestyle-wise? Because it's a tough adjustment to be in and out week after week on this tour.
Yeah, I'm trying to, still make some friends out there. Fortunately, there's a lot of young Americans like Alex Mickelson and Lerner Tien But just trying to build those relationships with other young guys. You see Tommy in the locker room, and I mean, he's not scared to crack a joke with anyone on tour. So it's funny seeing how a lot of the older guys operate when they're in the locker rooms or they're in the gym. So just trying to do that, I think that makes it a lot more fun when you're on the road. Sometimes I have trouble going to dinner with my opponents, but at the same time, you have to have friends that feel comfortable with. This week so far, I've been going with Tristan Boyer, which he speaks some Spanish, so it makes it a lot easier for us getting some meals. We don't have to worry about ordering the wrong thing. So it's been really nice, building those relationships with other guys that are at these events, and just enjoying the cities. I mean, you don't get to be 21 years old, travel the world that often. So just trying to make the most of it and enjoy every opportunity we get.
It's such a blessing. What a beautiful perspective. Ethan, keep winning matches. You're going to earn opportunities against some of the best in the world. Jakub Mensik.
Yes, sir.
Won in Miami.
Yep.
You're going to get a crack at him. What are you most excited about that matchup?
Just going out there and competing again. This year, I think, which was a change from last year, is I've been looking at every match as a match. I'm not looking at it as a win or a loss. There's been a lot of moments last year where I'd come off the court and I'd be like, man, that was a really tough loss, or man, that was a great win. And everything after that would follow just on the result. Whereas this year, I feel like I've been really focused on just, going out there, making sure I put out a product that I'm really happy about. Yeah. Because it's, at the end of the day, it's just another match, another opportunity to get better. Playing Carlos, that was a great match. It wasn't a loss. It was just a learning opportunity. Another chance to play, learn about the surface, learn about my own game style, and what it takes to get to the top. So I think that's the most important thing.
Gotcha. Head on straight, striking the ball great. Go get some rest. Give him everything in that next round and come chat with us again.
Will do. Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.